So, before the commercial, you said we'd talk about Level Up Gaming and Ross Rifles. One of the things that this overarching theme in my career is education. I love teaching, but I also think the best teachers are also the best learners. So I also really love to learn. Now, and you're a lifelong gamer, you love gaming, and I'm sure you've realized that gaming is super educational.
Yes.
No matter what game you play, you can always learn something from it. So, for instance, Overwatch. I know you play Overwatch a lot, and you stream Overwatch a lot.
Right.
And you'll see that a lot of the skins and a lot of the events, like the Chinese New Year events and the Chinese New Year skins, are often drawn from mythical or folkloric characters. And if you want to read more about it, you totally can. And you can learn about actual history and actual culture. So I've been teaching at the Royal Ontario Museum since 2011, and teaching using gaming since 2011. I've been working there since 2005. One thing that I realized with my colleagues and all of my staff was that gaming was having a profoundly positive effect on, all teenagers, but especially teenagers with autism. And so my friend Christian Blake, who's an occupational therapist, came to me and said, Daniel, we could help a lot of people with this. Let's start something. And so with our other friend, Kelsey McIver, who's a special ed teacher, we started Level Up Gaming. We originally called something else, but we had to change our name. And we had 4 clients. We met weekly after partnering with an occupational therapy collective called Dreamweavers. And we met weekly for 10 weeks, and it was our pilot. And we played actually Pathfinder, the first role-playing game you played. We played Pathfinder, and it was a huge success. All the clients, they really enjoyed having a venue where they can A, socialize, but also B, experiment with who they wanted to be, how they wanted to act as a human being. Because in role-playing games, you played Pathfinder, you played Dungeons and Dragons, and any of these games, you can be whatever you want. You can do whatever you want with, few real world consequences. If you want to try to be a villain, you can be a villain. If you want to be brave and outgoing and you're maybe shy and introverted, you could do that in game. It'll let you practice those skills. So we started Level Up Gaming almost 2 years ago, and we've since run at least 2 to 3 programs a year, and we're only growing more. And it's been a really wild journey. So Christian, Kelsey, and I have taken this really awesome game and these really awesome suite of games, because it's not just Dungeons and Dragons and it's not just Pathfinder. We're currently playing a game called Pugmire right now, and it's like D&D, but it's science fiction fantasy. So there are no humans, all of the humans are dead, and all the characters are dogs.
Oh, wow.
And all the villains and all the other characters you'll interact with in the world are animals. And all the dogs are trying to basically figure out why humanity has left. So it's very Horizon Zero Dawn mixed with the mechanics of D&D 5th edition. But yeah, we've been running these awesome programs with our small group of clients and trying to bring them the best possible gaming experience and best positive gaming experience they can. So we're currently running our winter session, and our spring session starts in April. Amazing. So really excited about that. We also run another group within Level Up Gaming called Tabletop Tutorials for people with greater needs to help with things like fine motor skills and turn taking. So that's more board game based. So we have board games and we have RPGs. To kind of vibe with that educational aspect, I started another sort of business, all related to gaming, with 2 of my best friends, Patrick Keenan and Daniel Grow. So it's Daniel, Patrick, Daniel. And we started Dundas West Games. A couple years ago, we started writing a book. It was like a campaign setting for fantasy role-playing games, like a world in which, regardless of the game you play, a world in which your stories can take place in. If you need help fleshing out cities and coming up with characters, we wrote a book for it. And it's massive. And we wanted to publish it, but we thought we should probably, make a name for ourselves in the industry and publish smaller things beforehand so people can kind of know what we're all about.
Yeah.
We've been doing all this work in my condo in the Dundas West area.
Right.
And so we said, okay, let's just call ourselves Dundas West Games. And what do we want to make our first game about? And all of us are really fascinated by, Canadiana and Canadian history. So we thought, let's do World War I. There's never been a role-playing game that really does the Canadian World War I experience. So we made Ross Rifles. If you've ever read your high school history textbook, you'll hear about the infamous Ross rifle and how it jammed and it was so bad and Canadians hated it. And you'll learn about the big battles like Vimy Ridge and Passchendaele that Canadians fought at.
I went to Vimy Ridge.
Oh,
actually.
when you went to France?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go.
The
memorial there looks gorgeous.
It's just so, honestly, I still get chills sometimes because I remember it.
Right.
Because I went back when I was like 16. And I don't know, it's just chills to think like, wow, like a whole battle happened here. And it's just so quiet, peaceful, I don't know.
It must be surreal.
Yeah, it was.
And so we thought, okay, well, what's going to make our game unique?
Right.
So we decided to make the game focused on Canadians, first of all, but focused on the average soldier. So Patrick and Daniel both have, family connections to the war, but I don't. But my connection to the game is that, I'm a member of the Chinese Canadian community. When you read books, you see, white people fighting for Canada and fighting for the people of Canada. But the deeper and deeper you dig into World War I, you realize that there were, all of these diverse communities that were also on the battlefield doing their part for Canada. And so Ross Rifles to me is about, the Chinese Canadians who fought, the Japanese Canadians who fought, the Black Canadians who fought, and of course the First Peoples who fought for Canada, and telling their stories and helping people, have an entertaining and historically accurate gaming experience, but also a really educational one.
Right.
So we're in the process of currently publishing Ross Rifles. We've released the sort of a preview edition, you can call it like an alpha, of Ross Rifles on a website called Drive-Thru RPG. And you can just search Ross Rifles and it's there.
Sweet.
It's completely free. And we just want people to, test the game, play it at home, let us know if there are any, you could say, bugs in the game. We just came back from Ottawa and we visited the Canadian War Museum. And the collection specialist there helped us actually see some real Ross Rifles and see some real artifacts that were used in World War I. To help us provide, a far more accurate history of the First World War for our audience, for our gaming audience. And so it was really inspiring. We ran some play tests there and are completely, are in the process of kind of changing our game.
Right.
Adding new mechanics, fine-tuning some things to make it better. And we'll be debuting those new mechanics at Breakout Con in March.
While developing Ross Rifles, you must have had to do like a lot of research.
Yes, a lot of research, hours and hours of research, and that's where my career at a museum and my career as an academic really came in handy. I know how to efficiently conduct research, and I know when to find good sources because there's a lot of information out there, a lot of, for lack of a better word, fake news out there. So, being an academic and being a scholar, I'm able to find, good peer-reviewed sources, talk to the right people, have contacts at museums who can answer my questions. So we've worked really hard in writing this book, and we're really excited for it to come out because it's really a labor of love and a labor of passion for us because I honestly get to tell a story about my community that, hundreds, maybe thousands of people might not even know.
So is there anything you want to say to the viewers out there who are interested in tabletop, level up gaming, or?
If you're really interested in trying out tabletop games, go to your nearest game store, grab an intro basic box. Try it, grab a group of friends. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to play, work your way through it. Trust me, it's a lot of fun. If you want to learn more about Level Up Gaming, you can find us at levelupgaming.ca and on social media at levelupgaming.ca. If you want to learn more about me, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Daniel H. Kwan. And of course, Dundas West Games. We're on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter at Dundas West Games. You can find us, learn all about Ross Rifles, ask us questions. I love talking about Ross rifles, so get in touch.